All right, my needle is threaded. My blanket stitch card is ready to rock and roll. I am going to start on the left side of this card. I'm going to turn it over and go through the back dot, very carefully pull my thread through till I reach the knot, take my tape it down so that we do not pull it through. And then I'm going to cast over just like we did it in the overcast stitch, but then I'm going to come back up through the second dot, and instead of pulling all the way through, I'm going to go ahead and come under the loop with my needle and thread, pull it through, bringing it to the top. This first stitch makes a little bit of excuse me, of a triangle. Go ahead and keep moving. Come up through the loop until it comes across the stitch card. Come up through the loop in the back. It's almost like you're doing the same process when you're tying off. We come back up through that loop when we're tying off a button or tying off a stitch. Being really careful not to twist or turn or knot your thread as it's coming. And I always recommend that you do not turn a corner, even if you have enough thread, but you certainly can. I mean, that's fine as long as you tie off and then start in the same black dot that you left off in. Same thing when you're sewing on fabric. Oops, that one has a little bit of a knot now. That when you're sewing on fabric, you want to make sure that you are starting in the same spot where you left off. And as you can see, I got a little snag fooey on that one. So let's see if we got a twisty here. There we go, pulled it right on out. Coming to the end, I'll do this dot and one more. I'm gonna go ahead and tie it off. It really is better to tie off when your thread gets to about a finger length worth of thread. So I will show you. So anytime you're stitching, if your thread is about measuring a finger length or so, round or about, that's really when you need to stop sewing so that you can go ahead and tie off. And I like to, like I said, pull it towards me, go in through that last stitch. I'm holding it down, mainly just because in a card it's a little more slippery, but on your fabric you probably will not have it being this slippery. Again, do it one more time. Go through, and if you'll notice, I'm having a more difficult time getting that needle through. That as long as my thread is not very long, I will not be able to bend my needle to get it around. So I only have this much thread left. That's trash, I'll throw it in my trash can. Tuck, tuck, needle stuck. Measure my thread to begin stitching along the edges again. And that is your blanket stitch.